Hello, this is Ali welcoming you to the 2143rd edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper, Dateline 17th of May 2018. The readers this week are Ali, Danny and Kitty, with Peter on the controls. The editor was Phillip, and the production and distribution team is Lindsay and Jean. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon, Harry Breuer, and performed by Jean-Jacques Perret, and is used with his kind permission. The local news stories that we will be reading come from the Enfield Independent, the May edition of the Enfield magazine, and are their copyright. The events information has been collated by us from other sources. The lead story this week is Council Spending Slashed. For the news, the sunrise and sunset times for the week beginning the 21st of May are sunrise at 0500 and sunset at 2054. Do get in touch with us to share your own news and special announcements. We love to hear from you. If you have any comments about the Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020-8805-6578. She is your listener's representative and will be pleased to help you. Now, Danny will read the first item of local news.
Council spending slashed. Council spending per head in Enfield and Haringey has been slashed by more than a fifth over the past 7 years, the study has shown. Figures from think tank Centre for London show councils have been battered by the government's austerity measures, with planning and development services bearing the brunt of cuts, despite an ongoing housing crisis. Enfield has cut spending per head by 22.1%, while Haringey has made cuts of 22.5%, data shows. In contrast, nearby Barnet has seen a fall of just 4.6%. The general trend is for deep reductions across London, with Newham slashing spending per head by almost a third, 32.7%. Only Barnet, Sutton, Bexley, Richmond and Havering have seen cuts of less than 10%. Local authorities have been forced to tighten their belts since the Conservative Liberal Democrat coalition government came to power in 2010. The coalition responded to the financial crisis by making significant spending reductions, including slashing grants to councils. According to the Institute for Fiscal Studies, councils in England saw an average real-term cut of almost 26% to their funding between 2010 and 2016. The Centre for London study shows that they have responded by protecting expenditure on social care services for children and adults and making bigger cuts to planning and development, 55%, cultural and related activities, 41%, and highways and transport, 38%. Labour-run councils such as Enfield and Haringey tend to spend more per head than other local authorities, but the gap has recently narrowed as they have been forced to make bigger proportional cuts to service budgets. Richard Brown, Search Director at Centre for London, said newly elected London councillors are this week arriving at town halls that have been on the front line of austerity. London boroughs, like other metropolitan authorities, have been hard hit by spending cuts, with the result that delivering on manifesto promises, especially on increasing the supply of affordable housing, may be challenging. Until now, councils have shown ingenuity in finding efficiencies and protecting statutory services, but they are running out of road. Continuing austerity is likely to force some harsh choices in the years to come. Local authorities should put party politics aside and collectively lobby for a new funding settlement with fiscal devolution and local taxation reform to put London services on a sustainable footing. Councillor Achilles Georgiou, Deputy Leader of Enfield Council, commented, we have had to endure over £160 million in cuts from the Tory government, and more is on its way as part of their austerity measures that will cut back essential public services. We remain resolute and continue to seek the most effective and economic way to deliver services for the people of Enfield. In the past 8 years, the Labour administration has been innovative in the new programmes we have introduced, including building award-winning council homes and an energy company to supply affordable energy. Further cuts by the Tory government will mean that there are tough times ahead. The people of Enfield have put their trust in us as we go forward We will be guided by our values and principles, protecting the most vulnerable while also delivering services people depend upon. We will do this by being stringent in the control of costs and pioneering in building upon the success of the previous 8 years.
I'm so proud to say I'm a foster carer. A fostering agency is showcasing one of its volunteers as part of Foster Care Fortnight. The ISP agency provides childcare, education and therapy to young people in the Enfield area who are in need of short or long-term care. It is estimated that fostering services need to recruit a further 5,900 foster families in the next 12 months in the UK. Jacqueline joined the ISP in 2008 and has since fostered 12 teenagers. Sharing her story, she said, "What's more rewarding than helping a young person to develop with the right care, support and sensitive handling of their past trauma?" In a bid to encourage others to get involved with fostering, Jacqueline added, "I made sure I had the support of my close friends and family, as we all understood things would be different and I would no longer be so free with my time and energy. But I didn't want something that was easy and inconsequential. This was going to become an integral part of me, my home and life." In her 50s, and with a grown-up son who'd moved away from home, Jacqueline said she found herself with the space and desire to raise another child while contributing to society. She added, "I'm so proud to say I'm a foster carer. People react with such positivity, even admiration. They recognise the good I'm doing for children who haven't been given the best start in life." Foster Care Fortnight takes
New
place
work begins
from May
on the latest
14th
section
to
of
the
cycle
26th.
lanes. Construction has begun on the latest section of a multi-million-pound network of cycle lanes. Work began last week on the A1010 South Corridor section of Cycle Enfield, which will run from Ponders End to White Hart Lane. The new cycle route will be physically separated from traffic to ensure cyclists are protected from cars and buses. Cycle Enfield, a £42 million scheme that is expected to take 4 years to complete, aims to cut congestion and pollution by encouraging people to cycle more through the provision of better quality infrastructure. It is part of a plan to ensure 5% of journeys in London are made by bicycle by 2026. The scheme has come under fire over an alleged lack of public support and its potential to cause disruption to local businesses during the construction phase. The A105 section of the route linking Palmer's Green to Enfield Town was completed in March. Speaking after the opening of the A105 lanes on March the 11th, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Environment, Councillor Daniel Anderson, said, "It was absolutely fantastic to see so many people celebrating the culmination of 3 years of hard work with the completion of the A105 cycle lanes. As the scheme has developed, we have gradually seen ever more people, young and old alike, using the lightly segregated lanes with increased confidence. At our family ride, we witnessed literally hundreds of people on their bikes riding the route en masse, which was a truly phenomenal experience."
What we need is promise that cuts will be restored. An MP has pledged to review the way council funding is calculated after receiving a petition signed by 10,000 Enfield residents calling for a better deal. Rishi Sunak, Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Local Government, has pledged to ensure up-to-date information is used to calculate the amount of grant funding the borough receives from Westminster. He said he recognised the population of Enfield has changed since the last local government funding calculations were made in 2013 to 14 and would look into including population growth projections as part of future sums. Mr Sunak said the review of funding for local authorities being carried out by his officials would provide an up-to-date, robust and responsive funding distribution mechanisms for future financial settlements. He added, "I also recognise that deprivation levels drive service demand, including for children's services." His comments came in a letter to Joan Ryan MP for Enfield North, who raised the petition, which was drawn up by Enfield Over 50s Forum with the government. The petition called for the ending of a scheme introduced 16 years ago that has seen Enfield's funding allocation cut back every year to help councils outside London. Enfield currently gets less than £350 per resident from the government, while some other London boroughs get more than £500 per head. This is despite the fact that it is the 12th most deprived borough in the capital and has a rapidly growing population. Monty Meth, president of the Over 50s Forum, said, "While it is useful to be told that the government will no longer use out-of-date population data in calculating Enfield's grant allocation, the funding distribution to all 353 local authorities in England will be robust and responsive, what we need to see is the colour of the government's money. It is no good telling us we will be getting a fair share of a grant system that by 2020 will have seen Enfield suffer cuts of some £200 million since 2010. What we need is a promise that the cuts will be restored and we'll get our fair share of a bigger cake so that our council can provide the services people need."
Right to vote. A visually impaired woman is campaigning for online voting to be introduced in Enfield to ensure people like her have the right to a secret ballot. Charlotte Macmillan, who lives on Ladysmith Road, has a rare condition known as Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, which means that she has very poor central vision. The 22-year-old, who works for the Home Office, has to rely on her peripheral vision, but that makes tasks that involve a lot of detail, like reading, very difficult. So Miss Macmillan is petitioning Enfield Council to trial online voting for visually impaired and other disabled members of the electorate to enable them to vote in secret. She said, "We all have the right to a secret vote, but there is no way for us to do that. It is a very big struggle. The people at the polling station do not get it at all. They hand you a magnifier. My eyesight is so bad it doesn't work. I take my mum along, but I know a few others who don't like telling anyone who they vote for. I know a girl who had to find someone to take, and it was so hard to find someone to go with her." Ms. Macmillan explained that most visually impaired people are used to using tablets equipped with special software that allows them to complete tasks without having to ask for help. But while online voting has been introduced in countries such as France and Canada, it has not yet been rolled out in the UK. This means that while blind and partially sighted voters have the right to vote in secret under the 2010 Equality Act, it is not always possible for them to do so in practice. The reason we are petitioning for smaller elections is that they are worried about the fraud, she said, explaining that the smaller number of voters increases the risk of criminal activity affecting the result. She added, "We have had a lot of support. I was running the London Marathon, so that was my focus until now. But everyone I have spoken to about the petition is very much on board. To sign the petition, visit https://governance.enfield.gov.uk.
of maternal mental illness. More than 1 in 10 women in the UK develop a mental illness during pregnancy or in the year after giving birth. Perinatal Mental Health Partnership stresses that ignorance about the symptoms of these conditions is tragic because, if untreated, they can have a devastating impact. May is Maternal Mental Health Awareness Month, and mental health experts want to highlight the range of emotional and psychological symptoms mums-to-be and new mums can experience. Here are the perinatal and postnatal mental illnesses everybody needs to know about. Antenatal depression. Research suggests antenatal depression, or depression that occurs during pregnancy, may be even more common than postnatal depression. Symptoms include low mood, irritability, loss of interest, poor sleep and appetite, poor concentration, lack of energy, feelings of hopelessness, withdrawing from other people. Treatment includes trying to reduce any obvious causes such as stress, as well as counselling and other psychological therapies. Only when the depression is severe will medication be recommended. Postnatal depression, PND. This common problem can start in the first year after giving birth. Symptoms include all those listed for antenatal depression, as well as difficulty bonding with your baby and getting no enjoyment from him or her, thinking you can't look after the baby, having frightening thoughts, possibly about hurting the baby, thinking about suicide or self-harm. If symptoms last more than 2 weeks or start later than the first few weeks after birth, it may be PND, and you should talk to your GP or health visitor as soon as possible. Postnatal anxiety. Mothers who've had difficult deliveries have a higher risk of postnatal anxiety. Symptoms include frequently feeling nervous or anxious, worrying, finding it difficult to relax or sleep, struggling to bond with the baby, restlessness, irritability, constantly checking on the baby, palpitations and rapid breathing, dizziness, excessive sweating, muscle tension, tingling or pain. If you're experiencing some of these symptoms, talk to your midwife, health visitor or GP. Maternal OCD. Studies suggest obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, is more common during pregnancy or afterwards than at other times in life, as mums are naturally focused on the safety of their developing or new baby. Symptoms include fear of contamination to the mother, baby, or anyone in contact with the baby, intrusive thoughts and worries about harm, doubts about equipment, for instance thinking the bottle sterilizer isn't working, perfectionism, excessive tidying and cleanliness. Occasionally experiencing some of these signs is normal for new mums. It's only when it becomes obsessive and starts having a wider impact on yourself and possibly your family that you should talk to a health professional. Postpartum psychosis. This is a severe but rare mental illness leading to extreme difficulty in responding emotionally to a newborn baby. It may occur at the same time as PND, and around half of mothers with postpartum psychosis already have a history of mental illness. The condition often starts in the first 1 to 4 weeks after the birth. Symptoms include sudden thoughts of harming the baby, delusions, hallucinations, a lack of emotional response, difficulty sleeping, changes in appetite, irritability, confusion, agitation, suicidal thoughts, or the belief that the baby would be better off without the mother. The mother may not want to admit to or talk about her feelings, but family members or health professionals who suspect psychosis should seek psychiatric help for them immediately. Treatment may include hospitalization, antipsychotic medication, antidepressants, electroconvulsive therapy or ECT, and or counselling. Support is out there. The Perinatal Mental Health Partnership UK acknowledges there's still stigma surrounding negative emotional feelings while pregnant or after a baby's born, but seeking support is really important, stressing suffering from a perinatal illness can be difficult, but with the right help and support, women can and do recover. Reaching out and admitting they aren't feeling right in no way means they are weak or a bad mum. Absolutely not. It's incredibly brave of them to take the first step. Visit maternalmentalhealthalliance.org. The Perinatal Mental Health Partnership have also made a series of videos on the above topics, which you can find on their Facebook page.
10 ways to ease hay fever. It's almost summer here in the UK, which means people will be starting to worry about the return of their hay fever symptoms. The most common symptoms are usually caused when our bodies, in contact with the outside, produce allergic antibodies to proteins in tree and grass pollen. When pollen is inhaled, the proteins cause the antibodies to burst and release histamine. It's this defense system that triggers the sneezing, itching, sore eyes, and runny nose that many of us experience. Here are just a few you can try next time you get that itchy nasal feeling. 1. Give your house a good vacuum. Vacuuming is one of the best things you can do to reduce pollen particles indoors, says Sarah Olson, Communications Director from Blue Air. Make sure your vacuum cleaner is fitted with a good filter that doesn't release the pollen particles back into the air. 2. Use a wet cloth to clean surfaces. Just like dust, pollen can land on surfaces and floors and remain there unseen. Instead of cleaning with a feather duster, make sure you clean all surfaces with a damp cloth or microfiber mop, which can remove smaller particles better. 3. Leave shoes and clothing by the door. To make sure you don't end the day with an unwelcome dose of pollen, shed your coat, shoes and clothing as you enter your home. Pollen clings to your clothing as well as your shoes. 4. Shower after having been outside. A cold shower could be just what you need to calm your symptoms, as water blasts pollen from your body before it can irritate your nose and eyes. 5. use room air purifiers. The polluted air from outside can add to indoor pollutants that irritate our sinuses. Air purifiers remain the most efficient way to remove these airborne pollutants, helping relieve many allergy symptoms. 6. Use in-car air purifiers. The air inside the car can be up to 15 times more polluted than on the road outside. A good air purifier can remove the pollen inside your car. 7. Check the pollen count. Most cities in the UK provide pollen maps, such as the pollen forecast published by the Met Office, online at metoffice.gov.uk. Pollution can worsen the effects too, so if you live in a big city, it may be a good idea to avoid being outside during rush hours. 8. Use a face mask when outdoors. Anything you can do to stop pollen getting into your nose will help stop hay fever symptoms. Face masks can be an effective way of filtering out pollen from the air you breathe. 9. Try red light therapy. Getting a good night's sleep during the summer months could be as easy as trying a nose probe before bed. Lloyd's Pharmacy have an allergy reliever, £14.99, reduced from £19.99, online at Lloyd's Pharmacy, LLOYDS pharmacy.com, but is inserted into the nostrils to help provide relief. 10. Use Vaseline. Got a spare pot of Vaseline at home? Some people find that putting a smear inside each of your nostrils can stop pollen in its tracks, says Anshu Bimbat, a pharmacist from Lloyd's Pharmacy.
Aspiring performer in final of national contest. In October 2017, Stephanie Wrigglesworth, 16, from Enfield, auditioned for National Music Theatre singing competition West End Calling. After being judged by West End stars, she was selected to go through to the next round, performing at the Tristan Bates Theatre, Leicester Square, to a sold-out audience. On February the 25th, she performed at the Stockwell Playhouse in the semi-final and was chosen to go through to the grand final, which will be on May the 27th at Andrew Lloyd Webber's newest theatre, the Other Palace. She sang a part of that from the last 5 years and was one of only 12 contestants, all aged between 8 and 21, to be handpicked by judges. Stephanie says, "My West End Calling audition was actually my first ever audition, so I was extremely nervous. Despite this, the process has been so friendly and welcoming that I'm really happy this has been my first experience in this field. I am very nervous for the final, but at the same time, I can't wait to get on the stage and perform." West End Calling is a nationwide musical theatre singing competition for young performers and which auditions all over the UK. Contestants audition and receive feedback from a variety of different West End stars during the process of the competition. The competition has produced our final 24 out of hundreds of hopefuls that applied and perform in an audience made up of industry professionals.
Here's a letter
agents,
from G.A.
casting
Musey
directors
of Mitchell Road, Palmer's Green. Stay litter conscious. A picture of a beach full of rubbish that preceded my letter, a backward step, opinion, April 25th, is shocking. But who put it there? Countries, ships, oil rigs and holiday makers are all suspect. No rubbish should be placed in the seas. It should be dealt with onshore by recycling and incineration. We have not banned car use because cars kill and injure people. Instead, we subject drivers to rules and regulations to safeguard others. Likewise, we should not ban plastic use because birds and sea creatures are killed by its waste. Instead, we should teach children to be litter conscious. Constantly use the media to keep us litter conscious and provide enough litter bins and recycling units to collect and dispose of the waste. Laws exist in Britain to fine litter louts. Why aren't they enforced more rigorously?
And the next one is from Nibiru London Enfield Enterprise Centre about themselves. An exciting new project funded by Big Lottery was launched on Friday, May 11th by local community organisation Nibiru. The aim of the project will be to provide valuable intergenerational opportunities within Ponders End, encouraging the local community to learn more about each other. The project will be running for 3 years and is named Switch, Society Working Intergenerationally Toward Community Harmony. aimed at bringing the different generations within the Ponders End community together to create a better and stronger community through specialised workshops in music and media and health and well-being. The project was formed to provide opportunities that bring together the different generations using a mutual format, while at the same time giving opportunities for others to be involved through volunteering. Visit the Facebook page Nibiru London for more information.
Public consultation event. World-class communication software company Metaswitch is revealing its plans to create an impressive new headquarters and create new jobs near the centre of Enfield, and is holding a public event to consult on its proposals. Development company Stowford has been appointed by Metaswitch to deliver the new office headquarters on the existing public car park at Jennerton Road, Enfield. The proposals will include the potential re-provision of car parking for public use outside of business hours, including weekends. The site has been identified by the council within its Enfield Town Framework Master Plan as being suitable for development. The event will be held at Dugdale Centre, the Executive Suite, first floor, 39 London Road, Enfield, EN2 6DS, on Thursday the 24th of May from 2:30 to 7:30 p.m. We do hope that you can attend our event, which is being organised by planning consultancy Turley. At the exhibition, the plans will be on display, and members of the project team will be available to answer your questions and capture your feedback. We look forward to welcoming you to the event and receiving your comments before we finalise our plan and submit a detailed planning application to Enfield Council. Further details can be obtained from joe.russell at curly.co.uk.
Teenage table tennis talent nets open bronze. Spain medal-winning success for Payet. Enfield's Denise Payet put in a medal-winning performance on the international stage by winning bronze at the Spanish Youth Open. The 16-year-old was playing alongside fellow English player Megan Gidney and Amy Wang of the USA in the junior girls team event. They combined to beat Netherlands 3-0 and Spain A 3-2 in the group stage, Payet sealing the latter victory with a 3-2 win over Andrea Perez in the deciding match. It put them into the last four, but they were beaten 3-0 by a strong French team and had to settle for bronze, awarded to both losing semi-finalists. Payet also performed well in the singles, winning her group to reach the knockout stage and then defeating Merve Nur Öztürk of Turkey in a remarkable match in the last 32. The Enfield teenager led 3-1, but saw her opponent fight back to level before Payet eventually took a marathon deciding set, 17-15, to seal a 4-3 victory. However, Payet went out in the last 16 of the competition, defeated 4-0 by the second seed Zdena Blazkova of the Czech Republic. In the doubles, Payet and Wang were knocked out 3-0 by Gul Pembe Ozkaya and Ozge Yilmaz of Turkey in the last 16 of the event.
Cricket. Rain puts paid to good starts. Enfield and Winshaw Hill see games fall victim to the weather. There was frustration for Enfield on Saturday as all three of their games fell victim to the rain, with all three sides in strong early positions. The first 11 won the toss and chose to bat, at home against Barnes in their Middlesex League Division 2 game, reaching a total of 86 for 1 when the rain came after 19 overs. Rihan Hassan, in his first game for the club, was 39 not out, and Jack Plum continued his early season form with an unbeaten 36. The seconds were put into bat away to Barnes in Second 11 Division 2. They only managed 13.5 overs before the rain, but had raced to 73 for 1 with Cormac O'Connor on 38 not out. Enfield's third 11 had enjoyed a strong start with the ball at home to Middlesex Tamils. Having won the toss and deciding to field in the overcast conditions, the home side had the Tamils 57 for 5 after 14 overs, and Norton doing most of the damage with 3 for 11 and a superb catch. This weekend sees the first host Eastcote at Lincoln Road, while the second 11 travels to the same opposition. Meanwhile, Enfield's thirds are due to face newly promoted Crouch End Cricket Club at home. Winchmore Hill were also in a similarly promising position against Hornsey, for the weather also put paid to their clash. Having been put into bat, Winchmore had reached 72 for 1 when the game was called off after 14 overs with Morgan Pryor on 41 not out. Winchmore's seconds had restricted SKLPC to 31 for 0 of 11 overs when the rain also brought a premature halt to their second 11 Division 3 meeting.
Football. Enfield boss hails strikers' deserved recognition. Hat-trick of awards for Borough's Kennedy. Tuggy Kennedy was the big winner at Enfield Borough's end-of-season awards ceremony as he walked away with 3 of the top prizes. The 19-year-old has enjoyed a stunning campaign and picked up the Golden Boot after plundering 30 goals to lead the club's scoring charts. He was also named Players' Player of the Year and completed a hat-trick of gongs when being named Manager's Player of the Year. Kennedy's goal-scoring qualities have never been in doubt, and he netted on his debut in March 2017 and has only built on that form this season. His haul of goals include 3 hat-tricks as well as 11 cup goals, which have come at a rate of a goal a game. It is little surprise that Kennedy's form attracted admiring eyes from sides further up the Football League. He eventually earned a trial with Charlton Athletics in February and has since been training with the league's one-side under-23 outfit, while continuing to represent his club. Enfield Borough manager Marvin Walker has been suitably impressed with Kennedy's season and has seen the youngster progress considerably since joining the club. Walker praised Kennedy's application and was quick to point out the impressive stats which suggest he has a long future in the game. Walker said, "Tuggy's awards are deserved recognition for the way that he's played this season. His game has developed considerably over the last 12 months, and with his blistering pace and eye for a goal, it is little surprise clubs are interested in taking him. He has an excellent attitude, is always striving to improve his game, and is a very popular and genuine young man. Should the offer of a professional contract transpire, everyone at the club will wish him the best. He has scored 35 goals in 55 games for the club, and while it'll be difficult to replace him, it is an excellent
EN magazine.
opportunity.
This year's Trent Park Triffic Trail will take place on Sunday the 24th of June in the picturesque fields and trails of Trent Country Park in Enfield. This annual popular run, which has been going for over 30 years, is organised by Trent Park Running Club. The senior 10k race starts at 10:30 a.m. and is an open race catering for the competitive athlete and fun runner alike, with over 500 senior finishers on the day. The race is chip-timed and caters for all abilities. It all takes place within Trent Country Park. On the day, they are supported by around 100 volunteers from the running club to cover all the activities from course setting, start-finish setup, course marshals, car parking, number collection and information points, goodie bag and T-shirt distribution to litter pickers. There are water stations, free car parking and spot prizes. All starters will receive a commemorative branded technical T-shirt and a goodie bag. There are prize vouchers in various age categories, including a prize of £100 awarded to the first male and female finishers who break the course record. The Trent Park Running Club also has a thriving junior section. The Junior Triffic Trail is a 4.5k race on the same day and starts at 9:30 a.m. It promises to be a great day and a wonderful atmosphere. Chamberlain's Estates are yet again main event sponsors. For further information, visit www.triffictrail.com or www.trentparkrc.org.
And this one's from EN Magazine, May 2018. Gin Festival, 31st June and 1st July 2018. Hot on the heels of their successful distillery pop-ups, Old Bakery Gin have turned their minds to gin festivals. The Enfield Gin Festival falls at the height of British summertime, located in the beautiful surroundings of Broomfield Park, with some of the UK's finest small-batch distillers attending. Ian Puddick of Enfield-based Old Bakery Gin said, "We were absolutely delighted to have resurrected Enfield's once illicit gin distillery and to be involved in the start of Enfield's first big outside gin festival with lots of other artisan gin producers as beyond exciting and great for our community. It's time for North London to taste some amazing gins and get to know the people behind the gin community." Ian bought the Old Bakery in Palmer's Green in 2012 to convert into an office for his leak detection business. During a legal dispute over ownership of the bakery chimney, which once stood 140 feet tall, Puddick discovered that the original bakers had made and sold illicit gin. During the renovations, he also reinstated the original hidden faded ghost sign for the bakery. Ian tracked down the illicit gin recipe, got the appropriate licenses, and has rebuilt a gin distillery in his office. Old Bakery Gin only uses 4 botanicals. Gin has now won 3 awards, including Best New Gin, the Gin Guide, and a silver medallion at the prestigious San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Confirmed producers at the festival include Apothecary, HMS Spirits, Turncoat, Spitfire, Renegade, and of course the organisers, locally produced Old Bakery Gin. This event is made even more special by being partnered with exclusive Japanese tonic maker Merchant Heart, who make a range of amazing spirit enhancer tonic waters which will complement and enhance any gin. Ticket prices start from just £20 and include entry to the festival, a bespoke copper ballon glass, and tokens to exchange with the distillers for a taste of their gin. More tokens can be purchased throughout the day at a cost of just £6 each. There is also an option to buy a Gin Monster ticket. That will also get you a 50 centilitre bottle of Enfield's own Old Bakery Gin. Food will be supplied by the Winchmore Pub and MasterChef contestant Natalie Coleman. The Enfield Gin Festival takes place on Saturday the 31st of June and Sunday the 1st of July at Broomfield Park, Bowling Green, Alderman's Hill, London N13 4RB. Tickets are limited and on sale at www.enfieldginfestival.com or direct from Eventbrite, www.eventbrite.co.uk/e/Enfield-gin-festival-tickets 44927735065 or www.enfieldginfestival.com. Win-win-win. Ian Magazine has teamed up with Enfield Gin Festival to give our readers the chance to win a pair of Gin Monster tickets, which include entry to the festival, a copper ballon glass, 8 drink tokens, and a bottle of Old Bakery Gin for a session of the winner's choosing. 2 pairs of runners-up can also win 2 pairs Gin Inquisitor tickets, which include entry to the festival, a glass, and 2 drink tokens. To be in with a chance of winning, just tell us how many botanicals are used in making Old Bakery Gin. To enter, email your answer to competitions@ianmagazine.co.uk or by post to Competitions, Ian Magazine, 63 High Street, Potters Bar, EN6 5AS. Please include name, address and a daytime phone number, and you must include your date of birth with your entry. The closing date for all entries is Friday the 1st of June 2018. Good luck.
This is an article by Dr. Jim Lewis, author of several Lee Valley books, called A Light Bulb Moment. We all use the technology that makes our mobile phones, watching TV and listening to the radio for granted. But did you know that the technology we take for granted today all started locally in the EN area? As an electronics engineer who once worked for the former Thorn EMI Ferguson company, I have a unique claim to fame, that of proclaiming that Duckleys Lane, Ponders End, is the centre of the universe. To a certain extent, the Institute of Physics supported this notion by sponsoring a plaque that was erected on the site in 2009. Recently, it was reported that the plaque, which had been installed on a building, had gone missing. Why am I so concerned about the loss, and why have I made what appears to be such an outlandish claim? In 1886, Joseph Wilson Swan moved his lamp factory from South Benwell in northeast England to a site beside the River Lee at Ponders End. Although Swan had demonstrated a crude form of electric lamp almost 20 years before the American Thomas Edison had registered his own version, he had failed to patent the device. Swan had naively believed that the technology he had used was already in the public domain. Rather than fight an expensive legal battle in the courts over the invention, Swan joined with Edison, and the Eddy Swan Company was formed. John Fleming, a prominent scientist, was invited to join the company as a consultant to investigate the blackening on the inside of the light bulbs, resulting from the Edison effect. This had been caused, in Swan's case, by carbon deposits released from his unique cellulose thread filaments. Fleming had the Ponders End laboratory make a number of lamps with an extra electrode on which he carried out his experiments. After completing his work, Fleming took an extra consultancy with the Marconi Wireless Telegraph Company. Being involved with Marconi may have given him the idea of improving the method for the detection of radio waves. Until then, the favoured device for detection was the coherer, an insulated tube filled with loose iron particles, which conducted when a signal was applied. The device had the distinct disadvantage of having to be gently tapped after each operation to free the particles for the next signal. In 1904, Fleming registered an improved version of his device, the world's first thermionic valve, a diodode, British patent number 24850. The term valve was borrowed from mechanical nomenclature and implies a means of control. In the electronic sense, the diodode valve controls the passage of an oscillating radio wave by allowing it to pass in only one direction. This is the method of detection which, after suitable processing, allows our radio receivers to convert the radio signals which have been transmitted from the numerous broadcast stations around the world into intelligible speech and music. It was perhaps fitting that the patenting of Fleming's device had, in a way, made up for Edison claiming the invention of the electric lamp ahead of Swan. Edison himself had concluded that the blacking on the inside of the light bulb was caused by electrically charged particles of carbon. He had also concluded that the current in the bulb varied with the temperature of the filament. This, he observed, was directly related to the supply voltage. Apart from constructing an electrical indicator as a result of his experiments, it would appear that Edison had not attached any other commercial value to his discovery. However, it was Fleming's understanding and his commercial grasp of the importance of Edison's discoveries which allowed him to seize a missed opportunity. Appreciating what Edison had missed, and also understanding the requirements for the detection of an oscillating wave, Fleming was uniquely positioned to make the discovery of the century. With the modified light bulbs from Ponders End, Fleming was able to bring together for the first time the technology of the lamp and the electronic control of a wireless signal. With the extra electrode, the electric lamp had effectively become the diodode valve. In a way, Fleming's discovery might be considered an act of fate, or perhaps natural justice, as he had made up for Swan's slowness in registering his invention before the American. It can be claimed on the basis of Fleming's work on Swan's electric lamp that the post-industrial revolution, the technological revolution, began at Ponders End. The diodode valve was only one of many exciting industrial firsts for the Lee Valley. From this simple beginning has grown the multimedia communication industry of today, and the way has been paved for even more exciting technological developments in industry, entertainment, and leisure. When the Olympics came to the Lee Valley, it was embryonic technology developed in Duckleys Lane that allowed the athletic events to be beamed live round the world as they happened for everyone to see. At the present rate of electronic progress, it is almost impossible to imagine the rapid growth of communications technology 114 after Fleming's patent. Even Swan himself, who had pioneered and witnessed so many remarkable scientific achievements, which for the day would have seemed equally unimaginable, could not have dreamt how far we have come. While writing this piece, I have been informed that the plaque is in safekeeping. Apparently, it was taken down and stored and will be reinstated when the building is complete. Now the residents of Enfield can relax and feel justly proud that Dudley's Lane will once again return to the centre of the universe, the only place on our planet where the post-industrial
400 years.
revolution...
As part of the celebrations of the 400-year anniversary of the issuing of the Royal Charter given by King James I to run a market in Enfield Town, Enfield Market is celebrating with Enfield Market's Charter Fair on Sunday, May the 20th, 2018. Enfield Market Celebratory Fair will exhibit craft, charity and local business stalls. A grand raffle is on offer with a free-to-enter treasure hunt. The fire services, St John Ambulance and police cadets will be present at the fair for visitors to engage with. The Old Enfield Charitable Trust, which owns Enfield Market, has invited local schools to exhibit colourful paintings by the children depicting the marketplace. The bandstand will be alive with varied musical artists from noon. The Etc. Morrismen start the day, followed by popular local ukulele band Soup and rock covers from Balloon Dogs. Soulful pop from the Ellamore Girls will provide continuous entertainment, finishing with Bazooka Joe and their popular 80s covers. Enfield Market's International Food Court will be open, and tipples from the King's Head and Malone's will keep you refreshed. A poetry corner will entice you to write your own poem. The poetry tent leads round to the family area within the grounds of St Andrew's Church. The beautiful setting will play host to younger activities, pony riding, crafts, face painting, princesses, local dance group, football fun and the like. A splendid time is guaranteed for all. The Charter Fair is being brought to the community by the Old Enfield Charitable Trust, working with the Enfield Town Residents Association.
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Danny, Kitty, Ali and Peter on the controls, it's cheerio.
Cheerio.
Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet. Put the memory stick into the packet in a closed position and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget, you can call Diana Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking Newspaper on 020 8805 6578. Coming up next, the latest news and information for the Greater London area from InfoSound. The Enfield Talking Newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.